What is trauma? Trauma is something that usually happens to us when we're growing up in childhood. It may not necessarily happen then, it can happen after, anytime in life. It's something that happens in the past. And trauma, these events, stories that happen to us, they affect us today by just the reliving of that trauma, that event. So from me in the early childhood, on many of us, we may have grew up in a dysfunctional home, may have been abused, many awful things may have happened, and it definitely affected us. We grew up with certain ways of dealing with the trauma that affected us. So let's say, for example, you grew up in a home that there was abuse, and you had a way of coping with this, and you developed a way to cope with the abuse. You had to survive, find ways to do it. And a lot of people develop different coping mechanisms throughout their life, and these mechanisms were designed to numb these feelings that we grew up with from the trauma. So it would be things like drugs, busyness, sex, overcompensating, perfectionism, so many different things. You would know what you use. By now you would know. And these coping mechanisms would have affected us in our lives too. The trauma, it's a loop. We have the early times in our childhood, that's the example I'll use for now, that we were traumatized. We learn to cope with it. And as we grow, we develop these coping mechanisms, like I say, but these mechanisms help us to survive, like I said, but it can hurt other people that we love, that we surround ourselves with, because we don't realize that we carry trauma and we still carry coping mechanisms. And we have to heal from this trauma. And to heal from the trauma, the first thing we have to do, as I say, is self-inquiry. We have to go back and look and see what caused it. So when you go back and you see what it is, and you start bringing it up, and you realize, oh, look at that. This is what happened. It's not my fault. It happened to me. So don't blame yourself and don't blame others. Now you have to take responsibility. And by taking responsibility, you can change your life now. You look at how it affects you. Everyone has a different way. For me, there are many different ways. So I see, like, sometimes I have these continuous thoughts sometimes when I wake up in the morning that are automatic, that are wired into me to help me to deal with what's coming up with the day ahead. But the funny thing about that was, when the trauma was happening, I needed these thoughts to cope with what might be an awful day ahead. And I don't need these thoughts anymore. My days are beautiful. I have miracles that happen every day. So even though I have this beautiful day ahead, I still wake up with these thoughts. So what would I do with this? It's traumatic. And I realized that I need to change these thoughts or replace it with other thoughts. And I think what works for me is I need to change it with better thoughts, the thoughts that are truth. And that would be that my day is going to work out great. Just imagine how the day is working out, what I planned for the day, the good things that are going to happen, not what happened to me in childhood 50 years ago. That I can, days were just, you don't want to go through it. So I don't have to relive that anymore, knowing that I'm going to go into my day, that it's going to be beautiful, filled with miracles, that the divine just walks with me. So that's one way of looking at the trauma from the past, being honest. You have to be very honest with yourself and look at it and stay open to it. And let's just open to the events that happened in the past that caused you trauma, so that you can feel it and integrate it. You're not trying to get rid of it. It is just a part of you. It's not all of you. You are a powerful, limitless person. You are compassionate. You are love. You are kind. These are the truth. This is the truth that is who you are, not what the trauma is trying to show you and the things that you're reliving. So you're going to go and live a new life. That's what you're doing. You're stepping out of the old and you're going into the new. And the only way you can do that is to empty those closets. And you have to go into the closet, see what's happening, take it out of the closet and integrate it. And say, okay, that's a part of me that helped me survive. It helped me to get through those times. But now I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I want to be limitless. I am limitless. I want to live that life that I truly am. So once you get that out and you start to practice awareness is very important. And that's what's going to help you with the self-inquiry. Sometimes what awareness will help you with is help you to see when you're living from a trauma event. You reacted because of trauma. And now you can respond knowing that, oh, that's the trauma. That's not who I am. I don't need to react that way anymore. When you're doing this, you're going to experience anger. You're going to experience things that don't feel good. So you'll have anger, discomfort, sadness, things like that. And let it come up and integrate it. Don't suppress it. And suppressing it is what causes depression. And that's what causes you to keep living this traumatic past that is no longer there. It's just a story now. Look at the trauma, a story, an event that happened. And here today, that event's not happening anymore. It's just happening in my mind. And it's happening in my life. And your body feels it. The trauma is there. So once you start opening up your heart to it, your heart is going to let your body know and your mind that it's okay now. We don't have to live like that. So that's what you're doing. You're opening your heart to the trauma, to let it go, to integrate it, to see that child that wanted love, to be seen, to be heard. And now you have the opportunity to do that, to see, to be seen, to be heard by your own love, by yourself. And you'll see, you'll start creating such a loving life for yourself. And that's what self-love is. You taking care of that inner child, taking care of yourself now, taking responsibility for it, taking responsibility for what you create in life. And it just becomes full of peace, love, joy, happiness. So trauma, it's there. It was part of your life. You experienced it. You created coping mechanisms that help you survive it. You don't need to survive it anymore. So you're gonna, step by step, create new mechanisms to replace the old. The thoughts will always be there. They'll come and go. You just won't entangle with it. You're starting to realize with awareness that, I could see this now. I can see why I'm behaving this way, why I'm reacting like that. And that awareness, just with practice, it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it does for some people, but most people, it'll just practice and keep moving forward in baby steps. Sometimes, as I say, you react and that's okay. Then bring awareness in. Oh, look, I reacted this way. Do your self-inquiry. Why did I react this way? What happened? So the other thing that you need to do when you're trying to clear trauma, and it's very important, is forgiveness. And forgiveness of the people that cause the trauma, the situations that cause the trauma. And then you need, most importantly, to forgive yourself, to move forward. We've all done things with these coping mechanisms that are not perfect. We were just doing the best that we can with what we knew. So now we can move forward and realize I can change these things. I forgive myself. I'm taking responsibility for it. And I'm going to move forward in a loving, kind way. Kind to myself, loving to myself, which will in turn, you will show, you will see it happen in the outside world. It just come natural, loving the world, the people out there, the nature, everything that you do. There will be this loving part of you, which you're now opening to, not just those past traumatic events. So once you start living from this place of love, kindness, you start to slow down and you start to see, oh, life is good. This is not too bad. I can do this. So start forgiving. And forgiveness, we really haven't, this is what I believe, we really never haven't done anything wrong. We came in here, we were conditioned, we went through trauma, we tried the best we could with what we had. So we made mistakes. So I shouldn't say we didn't do anything wrong. It's that, we have to give ourselves room for these mistakes. I'm sure, I know because of who we are, this was not intentional to hurt other people. The other people who hurt us, I'm sure it was not intentional. It was done. And realize that. That's why we're going to take responsibility for it. And just do it different. Break the loop. Go and change your life, and you'll see the lives all around you will change. Everything around you will change. You'll see more peace. You'll see abundance. You'll see kindness around you. You'll just see life just flow smoothly. And when it doesn't, it won't affect you as bad as it would before, because you're not going to react from the trauma. You're going to react, maybe respond. As time goes on, you'll be responding much better. You respond from love, from kindness, from who you truly are. You start to see that you're this soul and this body is in, and living this life from truth, from joy. So forgiveness is important. And then you move forward and you start to practice new mechanisms. As when you start to do this, these things will just come to you naturally. The divine creator will start bringing things and mechanisms that are much better for you. It'll open up to you. You start meeting different people. Relationships start to open up. You start seeing a lot more synchronicities. So once you start opening to that, the divine, your guides will bring all that you need for your path. And they've been waiting for you right now to say, great. Let me open to love. Let me open to the divine. Let me open to who I truly am. And it's all there. It's not, you're just blocking it because of those traumas, the belief of what happened with those traumas. So even though really bad things may have happened, or things that, cause you to live the life that you're living up till now, you realize that it is not something that you need to keep. It's something that's the past. I want to live in the present, and your future is going to look amazing. But we don't need to go there. Present is just absolutely amazing once you start seeing or letting go of that past. And it's a process. So be patient with yourself. It can be painful too when you're integrating. And when you're ready, you can do it. Some people are not ready yet. They're not ready to integrate it. That's okay. Take your time. Just, try to just be aware that you are living the life. You may be living a life from trauma, and it's difficult, and it can cause you to be, again, like I would say, angry, sad, anxious. Things are not working out the way you expect them to. There's no flow. So as you go on, you may realize that, look, I'm starting to see that, seeing it. This is not working for me. I want to try something different. And you will. And that's when your time, it might be today, and you want to try something different. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. As we go on in these videos, I will show some of the practices that I use, and they were great for me. I would encourage you to do the self-inquiry, understand that these are coping mechanisms that were created to help you survive. You don't want to survive anymore, you want to thrive. You've done a survival stage. You now see who you truly are, that you're limitless, that life is great. This is a beautiful earth. Yes, you have all kinds of stuff that goes on that, you know, is strange. You just focus on your life and you will start seeing it a lot differently. And, you know, not living from those conditioned beliefs, living from that trauma, but living from openness, trusting the divine, walking on a path that is full of love and kindness and joy and peace and abundance. And you will see this is real, this is true. And once you practice it, you will see it, you'll feel it, and you would actually enjoy some of the practices that help you to transition and integrate your past traumatic and past conditioning that has happened to you. I just want to send you lots of love and, you know, enjoy the journey. And that's what it's about. It's the journey. We always hear that, and it really is. And let's give it to the divine when we feel it's too much for us, because we're not alone. The divine was always there. You always had guides walking with you right next to you. And they did, besides the coping, they were there. They saved us many times. In your inquiry, self-inquiry, you will see that they were there. They were there. And you'll start to remember that. And then those memories, those painful memories will start to, as they start to integrate, they'll be a lot lighter on you. You'll empty that stuff out of the backpack. And the divine is here now. And so your guides are very happy that when you open, they will show you the way. They walk with you. They're on your path. So that's my take on trauma. And again, lots of love and enjoy the walk.